Dale Jr., your last tweet from 14 hours ago, wins over the Cowboys are the best. Hashtag HTTR. You had to love that. We know you're a mega Skins fan. That was a great result at FedEx yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It's tough, though. You're a Redskins fan, and you want to see the team just kind of dominate one of these games. And so far this season, although we got a great record, we're doing some great things. The defense was freaking awesome yesterday. There's just a few things on the offense. I know we're missing a couple guys with Crowder, but the offense, I just hope the offense can get a little bit more productive on a throughout an entire game. We started games strong, which was something that we didn't do last year, or with Cousins at quarterback. We kind of would slowly get into the game and have a strong second half, but we're starting games great. Just kind of sustaining that that type of, I don't know whether it's play calling or what it is, but sustaining that type of
momentum,
progression on offense,
yep,
and keeping it going. Yeah, I think that if you whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. If it's working all, don't or sort of dial it back to protect your lead, because these teams over and over back into the game. Panthers almost came back and beat us. Dallas almost came back and beat us. And that's tough for the fans, man. That's tough for us to watch that happen. So,
well, how much have you loved, though, seeing AP, being an older guy, seeing AP come in here out of nowhere and have the impact he's had? 99 yards again for him yesterday.
Yeah, it's been awesome to have a star like that on our team. Guy still has a little bit left in the tank, and I think he enjoys being a productive part of the offense. Kind of the last couple of years, he's been shuffled around and hasn't really found a place where he can be productive, and he certainly feels like he can be productive. A lot of people maybe doubted that after his run at the Saints and the Cardinals, but he came in and apparently he fits into our scheme, and so it's exciting. Obviously, he's a little banged up. I think he had 3 injuries last week, but going into this game. So he's kind of nicked up a little bit, but hopefully he seems like a tough guy. Hopefully he can get through the season. And I think, if we get a good opportunity to run at the playoffs, we're definitely going to need some healthy guys on the team. That was the problem last year. We had a great start to the year, and then right around the Chiefs game, we started piling up injuries, and then we just changed as a team dramatically for the worse because of those injuries. So trying to stay healthy is important. Obviously, and we have the talent to win games. We just got to keep them on the field.
So, Dale, we know that you're based down in Carolina Panther country. Do they ever try to recruit you to the dark side, or do they just know that you've been a Skins fan for life, that there's no going back, that you're never going to root for the Panthers, even though you basically live there?
I think that they assume that, during the very, very bad times as a Redskins fan, that you're weak and that you might consider changing teams. But, man, when you're invested, I've been a fan for the Skins since '81, so I'm too far in. There's no way I could change now.
I'm with you.
Yeah, there's just no way I could go back and do. I just could never pull for another team the way I pull for the Skins. I'm too invested. No matter how bad it gets or how good it gets, I'm here for the long haul.
Joined by Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got a new book out, Racing to the Finish, My Story. And basically the book is the central thesis of the book, we were only given it about half an hour ago, unfortunately, was all the concussions that piled up during your racing career. You took a look at that and were saying, you know what, I want to have a life and a family outside of racing. Talk about the concussions and the health issues that you faced during your racing career that ultimately made you step away from that.
Well, the culture in sports is basically to try to work and manage through an issue like that on your own. It's obviously getting better, guys. I think athletes are getting more educated about taking care of themselves and not making those mistakes. But for the longest time, you got a concussion or you got dinged up and you went back in the game or you kept racing or whatever you needed to do. And whether you might have been just uneducated about the issues that you're creating or whatever, but I think I made that mistake, over and over and over. even after that I had went to get treatment in 2012, I continued to get concussions and hid them from everyone, just trying to manage that situation myself, thinking that I know what I'm doing, I know my body, I know what I need to do here in this situation to get well and get back on the track, and I don't need to tell anybody about it, or it's not going to get everybody. And that's the worst mistake you can make. And whether you're trying to hide it to play or just hide it from everyone because of the stress it creates, whatever the reason, it's just the worst decision you can make. And I started to layer concussions together, have a series of concussions over a short period of time, and that eventually caught up with me to where I could not drive a car. I couldn't race. I had to stop what I was doing because I could not function well enough to race. So it was a terrible situation personally, physically, mentally, and it knocked me out of the half of the 2016 season because of the poor decisions that I made. So I wrote this book to try to help, the culture's changing, right? So I'm trying to help be a part of that, help educate not just athletes, but everyday folks that are dealing with these type of issues. A lot of people, myself included, when I first got injured, I didn't know that there was treatment. I didn't know there was a place you could go to get treatment for a head injury. I just thought that was something that you let rest.
Right.
That would get better on its own if it got better at all. But so we're trying to educate not only athletes but just every man that, hey, if you have a problem, you don't have to live with these symptoms. These aren't things you have to deal with. You can go here, get the treatment, get help, get those symptoms taken care of.
Obviously NASCAR season's very long. It's a grind, a lot of travel. Doesn't sound like you miss it too much, Dale. I could be wrong. It doesn't sound like you miss much of it, though.
Yeah, it's hard to miss it when you're there every weekend. Being able to be in the broadcast booth for NBC's really made the missing it part a lot easier to deal with, and I get to go to the racetrack and see the guys race. And I'm a fan of the sport, so I'm going to watch the races. I'm going to want to tune in. I'm going to want to be plugged into what's happening. This gives me the best opportunity to do that from the booth, get to talk to the fans, understand what fans think about what's happening. We got an amazing season coming down to the last couple. 8 drivers left that can win this championship, 4 races to go. It's an exciting time for our sport, and as a new broadcaster, it's a very exciting time for me. So I'm having a great time in the booth. I do miss being able to get out there and run a couple laps at certain racetracks. There's a lot of tracks that are a lot of fun, and I did run a race at Richmond this year in the Xfinity Series on a Saturday, and I'll probably do one of those next year just to get a little taste of it and scratch the itch, so to speak.
That's great. Well, listen, we'd love to have you on for longer, but I know you're doing a bunch of interviews. We'll have to do it again sometime. Talk about it. Maybe have you on after another Redskins win.
Absolutely. Hopefully next week.
Yep, that'll work.
Hail to the Redskins.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it, buddy.
You guys.